Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining us today on Comics from the Future. You know, this is the show where we go over what is coming up in comics. This is going to be stuff from Marvel, DC, and tons of independent publishers, new series starting, variant covers, and other cool stuff we don't want you to miss, so you can get your order in with your store and guarantee you get what you want. In case you don't know, my name is Megan.
I'm Andy.
And I'm Jason. We're with Infinity Flux Comics out of Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Thank you so much for watching. Happy Valentine's Day weekend if you celebrate it. The only way I celebrate it is just by wearing this shirt.
You love Spider-Man, we get it.
And if you are new to our channel, please take a second and hit the subscribe button and let us know what you're most looking forward to in the comments. So let's get into it, guys.
All right, we're going to begin with the featured comics this week. This is usually the number ones and just sort of the most desirable comics that you can order this week. I think it's a pretty strong week. A lot of really good ones. So let's start out.
This is Batman Superman World's Finest. I know a lot of people have been looking forward to this series. It's got some really cool covers. This is written by Mark Waid and with art by Dan Mora. This is a continuation of the backup story they did in Detective Comics 1050. So this is set in the not-so-distant past where Superman has received a near-fatal dose of kryptonite from his enemy Metallo, and he has to call on Batman to help him out. So that's kind of where we're starting here. Some interesting things about this is that it's a 32-page story, so a little bit bigger than usual, but there are no house ads, is what DC said.
Ooh.
So it's definitely going to be oversized in every sense of the word with no ads to clutter things up. Love that the price point was still just $3.99 on this. And World's Finest actually started in 1941 and continued through 1986 continuously. And then it got kind of chopped up into other weird titles, just Batman, Superman, Superman, Batman. But here it is again in an amalgamation of all those words. So here we go, and this seems to be ongoing. So this is our cover A.
See, I'm waiting to see these variants. One in particular.
They're cool,
Yep.
yeah. There's a couple really cool ones. So this is the Jim Lee cardstock variant.
He's drawn those characters a couple of times.
And then this is, oh no, my notes I think are a little messed up because they both say this is a Jim Lee
This is the
cardstock
art
variant.
germ.
That's art germ.
But
for
that's
sure.
obviously art germ. We don't need notes to tell us that. And then we have the Jason FABOK cardstock variant. I'm so excited to get to some other ones of these. I'm just like anticipating.
If Superman was just hovering a little lower, they could be holding hands right there.
Aw.
You know,
They couldn't have
like
that.
friends.
And then this is
the one.
Dan Mora, Jerry Seinfeld, the comedians in cars getting coffee, but it's the Batmobile getting coffee variant cover. I wanted to ask you guys, tell me in the comments, what do you think their different coffee orders would be? Because we have Seinfeld has a cup, Superman has a cup, and so does Batman. Although Batman is looking rude. He needs to take a sip. So, of course, we know Seinfeld loves Superman.
Yep.
I love that he weaseled his way onto this cover. I'd love to hear the background story on that. But yeah, what do you think they're drinking in those coffee cups?
I imagine Superman's like, nothing too strong.
I'm getting a little more subtext to this because to me, it looks like Seinfeld has stolen the Batmobile. Batman is after him. And Seinfeld, I mean, look at the smile on his face. He's just so smug about it because he's with his best friend Superman in the stolen car.
Yes. And he's chosen to steal the classic Batmobile. Okay,
Yep.
it's classic.
Mm-hmm.
So really looking forward to this series. I think it's going to be a lot of fun.
And to answer you, Megan, Batman, probably just black coffee.
I was about to say, he
straight
drinks
black
it black.
coffee.
What's blacker than black? Oh yeah, real quick, there is an incentive cover for this one that if your store is pre-selling it or you can get your hands on it, it's really cool. It is an homage of the Bat Slap. So that's a 1 in 25, and there's 2 different versions of it. So go check that out if you want to get that cover.
I'm still thinking about what Superman drinks for coffee. I'm not sure.
Maybe
really
gets
not sure.
tea. Do you want to explain, though, about why there's going to be extra DC books on here? Because that's going to be a kind of a
that's
thing.
an excellent point. So President's Day is coming up, and it's going to be on a Monday, of course. And whenever that happens, DC solicits their books a week early. So we have 2 weeks of DC solicitations on this week. So you're going to see a lot of DC stuff. Whereas if you look at next week's Comics for the Future, once we filmed it, don't pull in that time travel stuff. There's not going to be any DC on next week. So that is the explanation there. All right, so next up, we have Carnage in a new ongoing series. So that's really cool. He's had so many mini-series,
Yeah.
and, they've been really good. We've had a lot of people sign up for them, a lot of people excited for them. Finally going to get an ongoing series. So this is by Ram V, and I read the solicitations to this, and it's all the stuff you expect. It's bloodier and more brutal than ever, but none of it really talked about what the story is, which is difficult to do when you have a comic where the villain is the central character. You can have Carnage killing some people, but he can't. They can't glorify that. There's got to be some heroes after him. So I think a lot of it will be us figuring out, okay, who's going up against him. So that's my guess, but they don't say any of that. We just know that it's Ram V writing an ongoing Carnage series. Here's another fun fact. I looked into what the longest Carnage series ever was. Carnage had a 16-issue series. I believe it began in 2015, if I'm not correct, if I'm not mistaken. So I hope this one goes longer than that. He hasn't really had a long ongoing series.
Jason, did you plan your shirt today?
No, I did not. Any day is a good day to wear Carnage on your shirt. So, all right, we have this. Okay, we don't have this. So Bagley is doing a variant for it, but the variant is not ready. Our orders are still due by Monday, so we're just letting people know, if you like Bagley, this is your chance to order it. There's also this Brian Hitch variant.
Looks like he's going to be taking on everybody.
It really does. And there's also a Panosian variant, which is also not ready. However, there is a Ron Lim variant as well. Ron Lim sketch variant.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
Okay, next up. This makes me a little mad because can Jeff Lemire put out something that I'm not interested in and I don't have to buy, but I was like, okay, let's see about this. When I started reading about it, I'm like, dang it. Like, this actually does sound really good. So this is Little Monsters. It's by the creative team from Descender and Ascender, Jeff Lemire and Dustin Nguyen. And this one sounds really cool. This is about the last children on Earth who also just so happen to be vampires living amongst the ruins of humanity. It's kind of post-apocalyptic, but kind of so far that even these immortal vampire children kind of don't remember life before. So it says they're just kind of playing kids games among the ruins of LA and having kind of kid dramas and all of that. But some event happens that kind of fractures their group and their kind of childlike innocence, and is going to I'm guessing quickly mature them somehow in this post-apocalyptic world. I saw some preview pages of this. Of course, it looks awesome. Just Dustin Nguyen's art is beautiful. It's also, they said it's like Lord of the Flies meets child vampires. So you kind of get the idea of that kind of a society they may have in this. So I'm very excited about this. I believe it's a like Jeff Lemire does, it's maybe a mini / maxi series, maybe multiple chapter things. Rarely is it like full, like long running, ongoing. But just like Descender and Ascender, they're kind of two separate things of the same series. So this is our A cover, of course. Then we have a Jeff Lemire cover. And then we have a Doug Mahnke cover, which is super cool and creepy. And that doesn't look like a kid.
That's not a kid.
That's not a kid. That might be the thing that comes in and disrupts their way of life. It's like a Dracula.
Yeah.
Next up, we finally have a season 2 to Naomi. This is Naomi season 2, the next 6-part miniseries by Brian Michael Bendis and Jamal Campbell. So they have wanted to do this for ages, but Jamal Campbell has just been super busy with all of his other projects. Well, the stars have aligned. Perhaps, I'm sure it had something to do with a new CW show. But finally, one big thing about Naomi is we just don't know a lot about her. We really only had the first 6 issues miniseries with her. So this series is going to answer a lot of the questions that we have about her powers, her past, her legacy, and ultimately her place in the DC universe. So absolutely must read if you liked the original Naomi stuff. If you have liked the CW show, great jumping on point. So really excited for the new Naomi series. And
Yeah.
just got one cover to feature here today.
They had to start this as soon as possible because they're like, the TV show is going to get like way further than
Yeah,
anything
it's
we've
going to start
written.
answering questions that we haven't answered in the comic.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So next up, Wolverine patch. So check this out. Larry Hama is writing Wolverine stories from back before he originally wrote Wolverine, and I think he started writing Wolverine around the issue like number 33, like back in like the late 80s or whatever. So, so this is Wolverine back at the time when he was calling himself Patch. He was on Madripoor, and this is going to be an action intrigue book. So I think it sounds pretty cool. It's going to be a 5-issue miniseries, and the only other thing that the solicitation told me, which I thought was funny, is that Nick Fury is going to be in it. And so it literally said this: you get 2 patches for the price of 1. That's good. Whoever wrote that write-up, they need to get a raise just for that. I really like that. So this is a regular cover. Here is the Jurgens variant. You would never know that the missing Wolverine, because at the time he was supposed to be dead with the X-Men, is secretly this guy Pat.
I was about to say, we give Clark Kent and Superman a lot of crap. He has less. He still has his pointy hair and claws, and they can't figure out that's the same
But
guy.
the eye patch throws it all off.
But they know Wolverine, and clearly he has 2 eyes.
Yep, that's right. Okay, and then of course you got a Scotty Young one. I've not had a chance to read this yet. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're talking about. Probably pretty funny. I mean, Patch is just a character I've laughed about for so many years. Such an interesting little twist for Wolverine.
I know, for Wolverine, who's such a savage character, to like play a part is a funny idea.
But I'm definitely checking this out. Anything Larry Hama writes,
Yeah.
I am all about.
Next up, finally, we have Radiant Red. This is the mini-series continuation companion series to Radiant Black, spotlighting one of the big new characters in Radiant Black, Radiant Red. So, of course, a lot of the characters have taken on these different color mantles of the Radiant entity. And Radiant Red is an interesting one because I like that, not all of the characters, they're not like the Power Rangers where they're all teenagers, they're on school. These are very different people from different walks of life. This one is about Satomi Shin, and she's a middle school teacher. So, she's a little bit older and already has responsibilities. She has a fiance, she has a child, but when she was Radiant Red, she was actually a criminal. So she's balancing those 2 worlds, and now she's turned superhero. You can see her in the background when she turns into Radiant Red. She definitely looks like a bigger buff dude. So I'm very excited about this. This is 5 issues written by Cherish Chin, and the art is by Mikel Muerto and David LaFuente. So I'm very excited about this. I've loved Radiant Black. They're just keep expanding the Radiant world. We've got Supermassive coming up. We've got
Rogue Sun.
Rogue Sun. I mean, this is quickly becoming kind of the new Image superhero universe. So definitely want to check out Radiant Red if you've been reading Radiant Black. Also, seems like a great jumping on point. So we've got the variant cover. This is the WHALEN variant.
So next up we have a DC Black Label series that does not feature Batman or Joker. No, instead this is called Rogues. This is going to be a 4-part Black Label prestige size mini-series written by Josh Williamson, who's doing Robin and Batman, and art by LEOMACS, who did Basket Full of Heads. So really cool team up, very interesting team here. This is a neo-noir heist story. And it is Captain Cold as the leader of the rogues. He has a plan to finally rise them all up, get one final heist. Let's see how horribly wrong it goes, or who knows, they could end up on top. That'll leave them richer than ever. So Josh Williamson said this series looks more like some of his creator-owned stuff than any DC stuff he has done. It is full of dark humor, super science, and crazy action while still being a very serious story that fits in the Black Label universe. So really cool, excited to see what this is going to be all about. So we have this main cover by Sam Wolf Connelly, and then by our main artist on the series, LEOMACS.
That's cool too, because Joshua Williamson wrote Flash for a really long time. a few years ago, and I feel like this is a story maybe he couldn't fit into his main Flash run, or maybe it was too mature for that.
Good point.
So it's cool he gets to return to those characters.
Yeah.
All right, our next featured from Marvel is Fantastic Four Reckoning War Trial of the Watcher. So last week we had Reckoning War Alpha that was out. So this is the next one shot that's leading us through that event. And in this one, Uatu the Watcher, in all the multiverse, there is one what if world that he is afraid to actually look at. That I don't know what's going on in this world, but it says in this one shot that will be revealed. And of course it has much to do with the Reckoning War. It's this issue is also going to include the Fantastic Four, Silver Surfer, and Galactus. So those four tend to come as a package very often. But I need to know what is why can't he look at this one world? I mean, you know, all the What If comics are sort of from his perspective, and I mean, there's been a lot of really crazy bad things happening in them. But this time he will not look at this world. So this is our regular cover. Then we have a Peach Momoko variant. And lastly, we have this Rodriguez Carnage Forever variant.
Maybe it's a world where he's Carnage. He doesn't want to see.
Pretty scary.
One thing I'll say is this is called Trial of the Watcher, and I don't know if they mean like he's on trial. I think it's more like trials in your test. But I'm not sure. When I read it, it might be he's on trial. So.
Oh, yep, this is mine because this is very interesting. This is going to take some explanation. So, a year or so ago, there was a fantastic series from Aftershock called We Live by the Miranda brothers. Big hit around here. It's used children as like the main characters, but they weren't all safe as they kind of journeyed to this city where aliens were going to take these kids away because they were saving them from like the Earth being destroyed, and they only selected certain kids. We've been eagerly awaiting the follow-up series after the very surprising final issue that kind of shifted the whole genre on its head and kind of introduced superheroes to this world in a very interesting way. Well, now the Miranda brothers are back with We Live Age of Paladins #1. Now, what's unique about this is actually 2 #1s. This took a lot of research for me to wrap my mind around what this is. So, this series picks up 6 years after the original one. So our young characters are now quite a bit older and have come into their roles of being these paladins. And in it there are kind of a last-ditch effort to save the Earth, or they'll just have to leave it to be destroyed. Now, there is 2 #1s. One is called We Live Age of Paladins White, and one is called We Live Age of Paladins Black. And they are, from what it seems, 2 separate stories. I believe they are from different perspectives. It seems maybe one is more based on the paladins and one is more on humanity and how they're dealing with things. But there's kind of 2 separate solicitations for them, different covers, everything. So this is our cover for White #1. Then we have a mask variant for White #1. Then we have Black #1 by the Miranda brothers.
Yeah, I see, you know, it's clearly shifted.
Yeah,
you know,
and
like
if
the
you look
background
next
is
to
clearly
We Live
black.
on the left, like where the Aftershock logo is, it either says black or white on there.
Okay.
And then we have the mask variant for the black one. So this is going to be interesting how your store deals with it, because for us, I didn't even realize, I knew the series was coming out, I did not know there was 2 separate books, so you need to
Go back and look at that first cover again. So they're facing each other too. You see the white, they're facing the one way, and then on the black, they're facing. So to me, it's like you could put them together. It's connecting.
So definitely check with your store. Let them know if they don't know that this is actually 2 separate books. Now, when it gets to issue 2, I believe they're just kind of coming together to create one book, but I'm not sure. But let your store know that you want to get both of them. I don't know why you'd pick one or the other one because we don't necessarily know what's in them so far. But definitely this is a good time to communicate with your store and let them know what you want out of
This
We
is
Live.
sort of like House of X, Powers of 10 or X, crossed with Pokemon Red and Blue.
Yeah, it's the same thing but different.
That's neat. I don't know if I've ever heard of a comic doing
I
this.
know.
If it really is different on the insides, which they say
Yeah.
it is, I don't know if I've heard of a comic starting with 2 number 1s that merge
Yeah.
together.
Mhm.
Okay, so now we're going to get to other number 1s. These are other awesome books that we just didn't feature for reasons.
We have nothing against them. We just only have a certain amount.
Yes.
First up is Eternals the Heretic. So, in this, what's going on right now, first of all, this is written by Kieran Gillen. Thanos is now the ruler of the Eternals, and you think that would be terrible, but he is actually not the worst that they have seen. So, in this, you will meet Uranos. Did I say that right? Uranos the Undying, who is basically the original evil within the Eternals. So, find out more about that character. These miniseries have been great to give you more information on some of these kind of esoteric, hard to understand characters. So this is our main cover, and then we have a cool Noto variant.
All right, so another number 1 is this X-Men Unlimited Latitude. So this is the first time they're printing this, meaning this was released digitally or in some other manner. It's the first time I've heard about it because I do all my comics physically. But this is by DeCal Shalvey and Jonathan Hickman. And so it's a 4-issue series where the premise is that AIM has infiltrated SWORD and managed to kidnap 3 mutants. So Wolverine has to like jump into some portal or something, all by himself and try to save his 3 allies. So just a 4-issue miniseries, first time in print by Jonathan Hickman and DeCal Shalvey. There it is. Here's the regular cover. Then we have this Women of Marvel cover by the artist name is Cola. And lastly, we have this Henderson variant.
Okay, this one is interesting. Cities of Magic. You can get a little idea from the cover. It's familiar yet different. And this, I had to stop and like tell Jason this when I was researching it. It's described as a post-apocalyptic Gangs of New York meet Lord of the Rings. So if you can, in your mind, take those very distant elements and shove them together, that's what you're going to be getting. And immediately the solicitation starts talking about a cowboy named Lev. So we got some cowboys thrown in there. Rolls into Old York City and is caught in the middle of a gang war as he is looking for something no one has ever seen before. I wish it gave us a little bit more clues to maybe what that is. And is this... I'm guessing, like a lot of these, it's going to be like, no one's seen, like in Waterworld, like no one's ever seen dirt. It's like a thing from before. I don't know. It sounds like a cool concept. The art looks really cool. And, I mean, with claims of Gangs of New York meets Lord of the Rings, I have to read this one. So, just the one cover.
And next up is the Kill Lock Artisan Wraith. So this is a follow-up or volume 2 series to the original Kill Lock. This is the darkly funny sci-fi series by Transformer artist Livio Raimondelli. Hopefully I said that right. It's about 4 criminals who link their consciousness to create one of the smartest and most malicious bots out there. So if you like the original series, or if that sounds at all cool to you, you should probably check it out. This is from IDW, and that's the one cover. It's a 7-part series.
All right, so everyone knows Betty Page. She's basically a superhero now.
She's everything. Secret agent, superhero.
Yeah, and I think they're really running with that. So she's got a new miniseries starting up called Betty Page, The Alien Agenda. And in it, Betty Page is going to Roswell, New Mexico, because she heard that some weird stuff's going on. But this time, the U.S. government actually backs her. Like, apparently they go to Betty Page and they're like, hey, we're going to give you money. You get to lead your own team. Go find out what's going on in Roswell. So I think this is before Area 51. My bet is maybe it'll lead up to like her founding it. I don't know. But that is the general premise of The Alien Agenda with Betty Page. Here is our main cover. That's got to be Linsner, yes. Here is our Burns variant. We have a variant. This is the Rue variant. And then you're going to see a series of these with other books in a minute. There's this sort of Todd McFarlane sort of adjacent homage variant.
I wish Betty Page was alive now to know, like, all the craziness they've been
that
taking
they
her
have done
through.
with her, yeah, in her life. It's all true. It was all in her secret diary, released upon her death.
Next up, this is a fun one. This is Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, Power-Ups. So, if you didn't know, if you ever wondered who in their relationship, who would be Mario and who would be Luigi, here's your answer. Clearly, Betty is Mario and Veronica is Luigi.
I see that.
And this very cool, like, Nintendo game box cover. And in this, Betty and Veronica have to log in to a new game called Riververse. I love living in a world where everything is just revolved around you and the place you live. I don't know how this sells in other countries. To help Jughead, who apparently has gotten into some trouble. It says they're going to be teaming up with some allies in the Riververse world and everything. So sounds fun. Sounds like a fun kind of nod to video games and stuff, and some parodies and all that. So just the one cover for this one.
So if Betty's Mario and Veronica is Luigi, I'm really hoping Archie is in there as the princess.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it makes sense.
I bet.
Yeah.
Next up is the Sumerian Hour of the Dragon, for all you Conan fans out there. Hour of the Dragon is actually the only full-length novel written by Robert E. Howard, and this is basically the presentation of it as a bloodthirsty epic in comic book form. So check it out. Hour of the Dragon, got a few covers here. This is cover A, of course. Then we have the Searcher, B cover. Then the Lee, cover C, L-I. And then the Nieto homage variant, and that is an homage of Secret Wars number 12. I didn't let you tell me this time in the comments. Sorry about it.
Okay, so now we're moving on to cool covers and other comics. That means issues number 2 and 3, just so we remind people series maybe they want to sign up for. And at the same time, we're going to show you all the best variants of the week. So let's begin. Here is Amazing Spider-Man issue 92 dot beyond. So this is the Bagley variant, and of course with this issue we'll be nearing the end of the Beyond story arc, and there's also going to be an appearance by Monica Rambeau. And so here is the Brunner variant to that as well.
Next up, this is cool. This is Avengers 54. Not this cover because we can't see it. This is the HOTS Carnage Forever variant. But after the big stuff that happened in the previous issue, if you know kind of what happened to the Avengers headquarters, this one picks up right after that where they're kind of recovering from it. But it does say a new group of Avengers rise from the ruins, and new members and at least one Avenger is going to be wildly transformed. So maybe some new versions of characters, always fun. This is our LaRocca foreshadowing variant. Then we have, of course, the Liefeld variant. And we have the Nakayama Infinity Saga variant.
This Deadpool 30th anniversary is going to last until he's 40, I think. Alright, next up is Captain Marvel number 37. I got a couple cool covers we want to show you, but this is also a great jumping on point. Carol Danvers, she thinks she's going to get to take a rest, but of course that can't be the case. Starring Carol Danvers and Monica Rambeau. Once again, good jumping on point. This is the X-Gwyn cover by Gonzalez. Super cool.
Yeah.
And then a lovely Peach Momoko cover.
All right, here is the Ron Lim variant for Savage Spider-Man number 2. So as you can see from the cover, Peter Parker has gone under a horrible transformation into this creature. And not only that, but he is going to be hunted by Baron Zemo.
And next up is Star Wars Bounty Hunters 21. Now, we just had the release of the Darth Vader issue 20 Lucasfilm 50th anniversary cover that had what people are considering the first appearance of Din Djarin, the Mandalorian, and Grogu. But don't just think that's the only big one. Keep an eye out for some of these other ones. So with this one, this is essentially our first appearance of Greef Karga, Carl Weathers' character from Mandalorian, and the Mithril, the kind of secondary character they've had in a couple of episodes. So that's pretty big. because those characters are still alive and going to make more appearances and only get bigger. So this is that cover.
I feel like, even when we show this, though, not enough people find out.
Yeah.
And people are going to sleep on this. So
Yeah. All of my Star Wars knowledge is trying to impart to you how important some of these are. Then we have the Villanella variant for bounty hunters. Then we have Dr. Aphra 19. This is the Cummings variant. Really cool. And this is a big one. This one, maybe even more than the other one. So this, it just calls it the Mandalorian variant or whatever. But if you're familiar with the characters, this is actually, other than a half size, back when they did those Clone Wars little like young reader graphic novels that weren't collected anywhere else or anything, this is actually the first appearance and first cover appearance of Bo-Katan, who is a very big part in The Mandalorian, is only going to get bigger going forward after kind of the events that have been going on with Boba Fett and The Mandalorian. So this is essentially Bo-Katan's first actual comic appearance. And the other character that's played by Sasha Banks, Koska Reeves, is on this cover as well. So this is another big one that I feel like once we get maybe Mandalorian Season 3, people will be like, oh yeah, she ever appeared in a comic, and they go back and it's going to say this is maybe either, however they're going to word it, first cover appearance, first cameo, whatever this is, on the cover of this issue.
We're going to order up on this one.
Yeah, just
Still probably
listen
won't
to
be
me, people.
All right, one of the best things I think about the X Lives and Deaths of Wolverine series has been the really cool covers we've gotten to see and their progression. So I'm going to show you a few of them. This is for issue number 5 for X Lives of Wolverine, the Bagley trading card variant. Then Lovett Dodderman, I think this is maybe his first male character he's done this with. That could be wrong, but of course we have all the different versions from Dodderman. And then we have the Lives of Wolverine Fernandez variant.
Those Dodderman covers are so good.
So
I know, he was to do all of Wolverine's costumes, you need like a 5-issue miniseries in every one of them.
Yep. Okay, so here is the main cover to Excellent number 2. In this, the Excellent have, because of what happened in issue number 1, you'll have to read that, they have an opening for a new member, and they are going to add a new member, but will this be a good thing for the team, or will this be a problem? So more craziness by Milligan and Mike Allred, and here is the Shaw variant to that same issue.
Next up is Batgirls number 4. And what I like that some of the companies have been doing now, they'll just straight up tell you in the solicitations if there's a first appearance. And in this one, there's a new character called Spellbinder. It just says first appearance of Spellbinder. So we don't know how big of a character that's going to be, but they let us know beforehand. This is our Cho cover. Then we have, nope, no Batgirls on this cover. This is the John Boy Myers, the Batman movie variant.
That looks just as extreme as that trailer.
It does. And then we have the Ganichu International Women's Day variant.
And next up we have Batman the Night number 3 of this 10-part series. This is basically Batman is training in Paris and he gets his first real test as he's caught between Henry Ducard and a serial killer. So this is the Frederici cardstock variant. And then we have the Raphael Albuquerque variant as well.
All right, so this is the Lotte variant to Catwoman number 41. In this, the character Onyx has returned to Gotham and is going to team up with Catwoman. However, with Batman not around, the whole, vigilantes don't kill thing is kind of gone. And Onyx, well, she might think that some of them deserve this. And, Catwoman, she's not really on board with that most times.
Yeah.
So I think there's going to be some problems with their team up. Then we also have this Jenny Frison variant. As great as ever. Like, it'd be hard to pick out my favorite Jenny Frison variant.
This one's cool because this is Zoe Kravitz, Catwoman from the movie.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Next up, this is our final issue of Soul Plumber. This is the variant, the B cover by Amanda Connor.
I wonder if they're going to do a second part to this. It's wildly popular.
It's been so
Yeah.
popular.
Yeah.
Next up, Detective Comics 1056. Things are getting intense in Arkham Tower as Scarecrow is vying for the position of leader of the hostage situation. So, issue 1056, this is the Lee Bermejo cardstock variant. And then we have the Puppeteer Lee variant as well. Is that right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's correct.
Looks different to me. And then we also have Detective Comics 1057. Yes, they are already soliciting 2 issues at the same time. This is the Lee Bermejo variant for that one.
All right, so this is the Max Dunbar variant for Flash issue number 780. This is going to be a War of Earth 3 tie-in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're getting all that stuff, or you're on one of the other books that's doing it, you might want to grab this issue as well. So in this, I think Flash is going to be getting like attacked by Earth 3's Johnny Quick is what's going on in this book.
And next up, this is Future State Gotham number 11. This is the Mike Bowden variant with their new version, Hunter Panic. Not Mother Panic, this is Hunter Panic.
Yep.
And then we have I Am Batman number 7. This is the Francisco Mattina cardstock variant. In this, the Dark Knight comes to New York City.
All right, so check out Punchline, still behind bars. Will she ever get out of jail? I was talking with Andy about this the other day. It's like, man, they've left Punchline in jail like long enough. I feel like she maybe has done her time. But this is the Jacinto variant for Joker number 13. So this is the second to last issue of Joker. It ends at issue number 14. And in this, it sort of asks a question, vengeance. Is she going to kill Joker or not? That's what she wanted to do, but now there's sort of reasons as to why not. And then, of course, in the backup story, will Punchline ever get out of jail? And then here is the Heron variant to Joker number 13 as well.
Very disturbing. Then we have Justice League 74. This is actually Brian Michael Bendis' last issue on Justice League. 75 will be written by Joshua Williamson, where it's supposed to be the death of all the Justice League. So this is going to wrap up all of Bendis' stories. This is our Alex Maleev cover. Then we have the Ben Oliver cover for the Batman.
So, yeah, Andy and I were talking about, will this have anything to do with issue 75?
Yeah.
It's a double-sized issue. And it's by Bendis. It doesn't say anything about Josh Williamson on it. But at the same time, how are you just going to kill the Justice League in one issue?
Yeah, is this going to send them towards a event or something that's going to be picked up? It'll be interesting to see.
So I'm really worried 75 is going to come out and then everyone is going to want this issue and not have ordered it. So I just think if you're thinking about getting 75 because what's going to happen, you might want to get this one just in case too.
This is really cool. This is Nightwing number 90, and this is going to be a 2-part series within Nightwing featuring Wally West. So Nightwing needs his friend Flash to help him out and with some situations. So 2-part storyline. You don't often see those. So this is cover A, the Bruno Redondo cover. And then we have a Jamal Campbell cardstock variant. I'm sure the next one for 91 will feature Wally on it. And then next up we have the Frederici Batman cardstock variant as well.
Yeah, I mean, I read a lot of DC, and Nightwing and Wally West Flash, 2 of my favorite series coming together. It's perfect. Okay, so this is the Kyle Baker variant for Nubia and the Amazons number 6, which is the final issue of that miniseries. But what's even maybe more important than that is this is the second part to Trial of the Amazons. So we don't want anyone to miss out on that. So this is the Kyle Baker variant for this. And then we have the Juliet NECA International Women's Day variant. Very, very cool, different, interesting, very dreamy-eyed. So Nubia is going to have to be both a bit of a detective and a diplomat in this as a murder occurs. And this is even before they do the whole the competition that they're going to be holding. So, you know, she's trying to get that going, and there's a murder. So
Next up is a crazy cover for Refrigerator Full of Heads. This is number 5 of the 8-part series by Dave Johnson.
And then we have Robin's number 5 of 6. This is the cover B, Carrie Randolph cover. In this, the Robins are trapped in a virtual prison where they have to face down their gauntlet of bad memories. Sounds terrible, but sounds like a good story. So, once again, cover B.
okay, this is the Redondo cover to Superman Son of Kal-El number 9. This is part 2 of the crossover between Superman and Nightwing. And then we also have this other variant that is Travis Moore. This is a Travis Moore variant for that.
That must be getting lonely. He's going hanging out with all his friends,
think
Wally and John.
And this was the... Oh, man. I lost it. It's the Medeiros International Women's Day variant.
Interesting. Yeah, I can see why I get thrown off. This looks really uncommon.
Next up, this is for Titans United number 7 of 7, the final issue of this mini-series, that kind of pseudo-related to the Titans live-action TV show. This is our Kale New variant. And then we have our International Women's Day cover by Stags.
Then we got a couple really cool Wonder Woman covers to show you. First up, Wonder Woman 785. This is the Polina Ganna Show cardstock variant. Look at the sword. You can see some cool stuff happening. Touch the sword like that. Wonder Woman Evolution number 5 of 8. This is the Hamner cardstock variant.
That's good. That's a strong cover right there.
Oh, wait. No, something got messed up there. This is the Wonder Woman Evolution cover.
All right, so this is the cover to New Masters number 2. It doesn't have a variant, just the one cover. I reviewed issue number 1 maybe like 2 shows ago on our review show.
You really liked it.
I really did, yeah. So it is a sci-fi story set in Africa, in sort of this interesting futuristic Africa. It's actually, the comic is written and drawn by 2 Nigerian brothers, and I was very impressed with the first issue. So here's your chance to order the second one, or if you never got to grab that first one, look for it in your store. If you like sci-fi stuff that is just different than what you've seen before, I think it'd be for you.
Okay, this is big. I've been seeing this a lot of places, and I feel like people need to know about this because people are really going to want this. This is Spawn 327, and this is actually a Spider-Man homage cover drawn by Todd McFarlane, the guy who drew the original. So it's pretty big for him to homage himself. I feel like you just don't see that often. That's kind of, you know, I wouldn't say it's taboo, but it's kind of like he did it for a different company and everything. But, I mean, for all of the homages of this cover, you want the original guy doing it. So this is, instead of Spider-Man, we have Haunt on here.
And, I mean, let me just say, Todd McFarlane is still blowing everybody else out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
Who has done these homages. I've seen some pretty good ones, but this is, just incredible.
And then we have our Matina. This is the A cover for Scorched number 3. There's also going to be a McFarlane B cover for this, but it's not ready yet, so I'm not sure what it is. And then this is cool. This is a last minute edition. Ant. This issue, I believe 3 of Ant, is going to have Spawn featuring in it. So another extra dosing of Spawn. And then we have our kind of retro trade dress and our regular trade dress.
Next up, we have Draculina number 2. Issue number 1 just came out this week, so if you liked it, add it to your list or order this one. In issue number 2, we're going to have the mystery of Draculina's 2 lives revealed. A few different covers to show you. This is cover B by Rose Besh. Then we have cover C by March. Then we have the FOC Wizard Homage Biggs Original.
So I remember this from when I was a kid in the 90s. And, you know, so it's Todd McFarlane, but it's for Wizard magazine.
Yeah, he did. It was Spider-Man wearing a wizard suit,
Yes.
I believe.
Yep, the wizard hat and everything.
So that's what that is. Have a few more. We have the cover M, the FOC Gundas variant, and the FOC Maria Original is what this is called.
All right, if you haven't got enough of that wizard variant, Evil Ernie issue 4 is doing the same thing. So there he is. I know that image is just burned into certain people's brains.
Yeah.
If you're of the right, if you're of the right age group. So
Next up, we have Red Sonja, Black, White, and Red. This is number 8. Some great covers for this one. So we've got a David Matt cover. We have the Sway cover. And then we have the Lao variant.
all right, so now we're getting to the last part of our show, which is other printings and graphic novels.
First up is the second printing of Amazing Spider-Man 88. This was hugely popular this week. It was the first appearance of Queen Goblin, Ashley Kafka. So definitely sold out here. We may have one variant left. So this is your chance to pick this up if you missed it. Number 88, second print.
The next Marvel reprint is Fantastic Four Reckoning War Alpha number 1. So if you missed out on that first print, here's a chance to get it. I think they're releasing this at a good time because the whole trial of Uatu that we went over earlier is coming out. Let people catch up on what happened in that Alpha issue. So here's the second print for that.
Then we have the second print for Mary Jane Black Cat. Just that one shot that was super popular, now with a recolored J. Scott Campbell cover.
And then we have Star Wars Halcyon Legacy number 1, second printing as well. This one they didn't turn around in the same week as some of these other second prints. It took a couple, but here it is nonetheless.
They're also doing a second print for X Deaths of Wolverine number 1. This was a series that we knew was going to have reprints because they were so mysterious about it, and it was such a weekly series. They made us retailers order issues like 2 and 3 before 1 came out. That people finally get to read it, and then they start talking, and then their friends want it, and everyone's out. So here's the second print to X Deaths of Wolverine number 1. And there's also a variant for this. They're both by Vincetti.
This is for X Lives. Yep.
Good catch. I see. That one word.
That one word will get you.
Yeah, so this is the X Lives of Wolverine second print.
Okay, so this is the Venomnibus. Megan, how'd you say it?
Venomnibus.
Venomnibus, or as Jason and I called it, Venom on a Bus. So this is actually really cool. We're now in the running. Can we find what's the biggest omnibus they're going to be putting out? This one's huge. So this is only $125. And I say only, even though that sounds like a lot. When you hear what's all in it, this collects all the regular issues of Venom by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. And of course, there's some Bagley issues in there. There's a few other artists that contributed. All of the Web of issues, the Web of Venom, the Web of Carnage, the one about the dog, all of that. This has all of Absolute Carnage in it, the Free Comic Book Day issue, even a story from Carnage, Black, White, and Blood, and all of King in Black. Like, this is a ton of stuff. This is now, in our recent checking, the biggest number of pages. This beat out the Star Wars one from last time.
Week, yeah.
This is 1,352 pages. This thing is a monster, as Venom is. So this is our King in Black cover. And then we have the Rex cover.
Yep, and that takes from the cover of issue 3, which was first appearance of Null.
Yep.
All right, well, I was just trying to look up how many pages this one was because in the solicitation it says for Avengers vs. X-Men Omnibus, this is Marvel's biggest ever omnibus. But they don't list the page count. So if anyone finds that, what is the page count for Avengers vs. X-Men Omnibus? Marvel's biggest omnibus. This is Avengers battling the children of Adam. I'm not going over everything that's in this because it's probably 1,400 pages of stuff. It's a ton of stuff. For $150, this is the Captain America Wolverine, really cool direct market variant. And then we have the Iron Man Magneto cover as well.
So it's been announced that later this year they're doing Avengers versus X-Men versus Eternals.
Yep.
So I can see why they are releasing this now.
Did you find it?
I did find it. Okay, so this one wins. Okay. This is 1,680 pages.
Oh my lord.
Wow.
That might be too big.
I
We
think
gotta
so.
check with them. That may be too big.
If you open it, with so many pages, it's just gonna like tear the binding.
I
It's just gonna
know.
come across. Just yeah.
Okay, so this is another thing I gotta inform y'all. Y'all need me for this. So this is Star Wars Insider 209. It was a big deal when there's the Grogu cover that came out. This is actually our first appearance in any media form of print of Cobb Vanth, who it says here, the Marshal. This is a big deal. Big character through Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. So if you want to get what may be considered his first appearance, they're kind of weird with the magazines and everything, because there's a Grogu one, there was a Bo-Katan one, now a Cobb Vanth one. But this is big. I mean, it's his first real media appearance. For that one, they also say this is a crime special issue, which is pretty cool. So that is that cover.
Yeah, they tend to allow these to be first cover appearance,
Mm.
but they they're still first full appearance that happens in a regular comic, not an insider magazine.
Yeah.
And those other ones you mentioned, I mean, they did go up in value.
Yeah.
They're not like first full appearance value, but they're you know.
We're in a very weird time of figuring out what is first cover, first cameo, all that.
I don't even try. I just notice the patterns, and
Yeah.
I just say, here's what generally is going to happen. But
Yeah.
I am not in control of this whatsoever.
Okay, then we have the Jabba cover. We have, this is just our newsstand regular cover. And then, of course, this one is also a Jabba cover.
Get that man a napkin. Get him a roll of paper towels. It's like when you go to a barbecue place and they have the whole paper towel roll at your table. That's what he needs. Okay, so Catwoman also has an omnibus coming out. It is Catwoman of East End. This is only $100, or rather, it's $100. It's only 1,036 pages.
You're going to finish that in a half hour.
I know, we've been hearing about these big 1,300 and 1,600 page omnibuses, but this is $25 less. It's still 1,064 pages. It collects all of Catwoman's series, issue 1 through 37, Secret Files, Selina's Big Score, and Detective Comics 759 through 762. So this is back when Catwoman was broke. She was like worried about money and having to get back into burglary. But at the same time, there was a serial killer going around town. So she was still doing a lot of good. But she just wasn't living that lavish lifestyle like she does these days.
Next up is DC League of Super Pets, The Great Mix-Up. See the mix, how it's written there. So this picks up where the movie leaves off. This is the Super Pets will need to save not only their human counterparts, but the entire city. But I think these are just the pets for it. This is going to be a $10, great for kids graphic novel.
That's interesting they're listing that, because I don't think the movie comes
I
out
don't
till
think
later
so
this
either,
year.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out what happens afterwards, there you go.
I think this is you. Who is this?
Death and Return of Superman Omnibus. So this is, this makes complete sense that they're bringing this out because we're about to hit the anniversary of Death of Superman.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
is part of why Josh Williams has said he's killing off the Justice League. That's a pretty weird way to celebrate. No, I think that's really cool. So this is just $150. They have reprinted this a lot, but this is going to be the newest one. This is the 2022 reprint. So I'm sure there's going to be some additional things.
Yeah, I believe this collects the death of the reign of the Superman,
Yes.
which is about all the people who took his place, and then the
His
return. Yeah.
Yeah, so that whole thing, catch up with that before they kill off the Justice League and Superman again.
Yeah.
Just $150. All right, and that is it. That is our show, Comics from the Future, for this week.
Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a happy Valentine's Day. And if you love us for the information we provide, please take a second to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also check out the links to our Instagram and Facebook. We really appreciate every single person who watches, and we will see you next time.